My good friend Zippy Cimino, who he was pretty amazing. I'll just tell you quickly. When he was 17, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease, and he was referred to an adult oncologist. And he did some research and said maybe he's better off being taken care of by a pediatric oncologist. So he came and interviewed me to make sure I was up to the task. And it's been a blessing to know Zippy and his whole family.
My name is Zippy, and thank you all so much for coming. And Jerry and Maureen, thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm not gonna lie, when they reached out to me a few weeks ago, I sat at my desk and I was speechless. And I think everybody who knows me knows I'm rarely speechless. I think I could probably talk to the beams upstairs and have a nice conversation. But what I thought about was what the Valerie Fund means, and the center here. And I really couldn't put one word to it, because there's not one thing, it's everything. My story goes, I was diagnosed in February of 2012. I had a nodule underneath my left armpit that we were being treated as a swollen sweat gland. That is not what it was. Through tests and biopsies, it was the dreaded words of that I have cancer. And I didn't interview Dr. Halpern, so that's not true. But after kind of our second and third meetings with different doctors, I knew this is where I needed to be. And a lot of it was just because of the people here. It's not just the doctors. It goes from Dawn and Valet to the receptionists, to the nurses, to all of the support staff, the social workers. What they did to get me back to being Zippy, not just physically, but mentally, is why I'm here today. And it'll be 8 years on February 27th of this year. And that day, I remember I set 2 goals. And we all met as a team, doctors, nurses, and my family. And those goals were to beat cancer and to get to college on time. I did my 4 rounds of chemotherapy. Then we did 6 weeks of radiation. I finished at the end of July of 2012. And I went off to the College of Charleston about 3 weeks later. And those goals, for me, that meant everything. That I set 2 things and we conquered them. But it wasn't just me, it was everybody here. I went to the College of Charleston for my first 2 years, and it was amazing. In July of 2014, during a routine checkup and scan, Dr. Halpern called us and said we needed to come back in. Dr. Halpern, what he does for his patients, it's something I can't really put into words. And the look on his face, I knew it was a bad look right away. To hear those words again, and you're 20 years old, and you think you're invincible, you're in college, you love life, it felt like a ton of bricks. And Kathy Cerruti pulled me in to another one of the rooms. I don't know if Kathy's here tonight. But I clenched her hand, and I knew the enormous amount of support that I had here. And I had to get rid of this, I feel bad for myself, why me again? And I never had asked myself that, and I knew I just had to keep going. This time I had a unique type of cancer. It was a bit different. So I did 6 treatments, and I started in September, and we finished March. It'll be 5 years, March 23rd this year. And I finished March 23rd of 2015 with my clean bill of health. But when I finished, and now I look back even more, I think about just everyone here. And I kind of have coined a phrase, this is my favorite place that I hate coming to. And I think about why that is, and it's one reason, the people here. And like I mentioned earlier, it's everyone here. Everybody genuinely cares about you, and they care about your family. Cancer is not a physical, it's everything. And what the Valerie Fund did for me mentally and physically, it's why I'm here today. It's why I'm not a cancer survivor, I'm a cancer thriver. I'm moving on, I'm going on with my life because of this wonderful place. And I can't thank you all enough for being here, and the fact that the floor is expanding and more patients and families are going to be treated here and helped. That means the world to me because, and as Dr. So as he mentioned, it's maybe not in Philadelphia or it's not Sloan in New York City, but it's not about the bright lights in the big cities. What everyone does for you and your family and how much they genuinely care and want to see you get back to who you are is why the Valerie Fund is so amazing. So to close, I'm very happy to be here tonight and not have to be on that second floor. But thank you all so much for coming and your generous donations. And I'm so thrilled that many more patients will be here and we'll be able to look up to Jess and I. And there'll be many more cancer thrivers. So thank you all so much for coming.